Before the cafe opened, Mina taped a new notice beside the counter. Please return borrowed mugs immediately. Repeated delays will be recorded.
Efficient, also slightly terrifying.
The words are clear, but the tone feels severe.
Blunt means direct in a way that may sound unfriendly.
My intention was to prevent missing mugs, not frighten anyone.
Your intention is friendly. The sentence is wearing steel boots.
Intention is what a speaker wants to communicate.
I interpret the notice as a rule with consequences.
Interpret means decide what a message means.
So different readers can interpret the same words differently.
Especially without context or breakfast.
Revision proposed. Dear cherished mug borrowers, kindly return our ceramic citizens.
That is considerate, but dramatically excessive.
Revise means change language to make it clearer or more suitable.
Before the first customer arrived, one small notice had started a large discussion about tone. Sierra placed 3 colored cards beneath the notice and invited everyone to explain what they heard.
First, let us clarify the message before we judge it.
Clarify means make an idea easier to understand.
The rule is simple. Borrowed mugs need to come back before closing.
But the phrase repeated delays will be recorded implies that someone is already in trouble.
Imply means suggest something without saying it directly.
I did not mean to imply blame.
The wording leaves an ambiguous feeling, warning, or accusation.
Ambiguous means having more than one possible meaning.
My assumption was that the notice was aimed at me.
An assumption is something accepted as true without enough proof.
In my defense, I am currently holding 3 cafe mugs.
I acknowledge that the notice sounds harsher than I intended.
Acknowledge means openly recognize a fact or feeling.
Let me reassure everyone, nobody is being punished. We just need the mugs back. With the hidden meaning made visible, the room felt less accused and more informed. At 9 o'clock, a regular customer stopped beneath the notice and quietly put her mug back on the counter.
I was going to borrow this upstairs, but the notice makes that feel forbidden.
It is not forbidden. I am sorry the wording created that impression.
An impression is the general idea or feeling something produces.
The phrase will be recorded has a negative connotation.
A connotation is an associated feeling beyond a word's literal meaning.
Literally, the notice mentions a record. Emotionally, it sounds like a permanent file of mug crimes.
That is not the atmosphere I want the cafe to create.
Her reaction gives us evidence about how the message is being perceived.
Perceive means notice or interpret something in a particular way.
I focused on what the sentence meant to me, not how another reader might perceive it.
That difference in perspective matters.
Perspective is the position from which someone understands a situation.
From my perspective, the notice is still wearing steel boots.
Then we need more than a correction. We need wording that changes the reader's experience. The customer had not argued with the rule. She had revealed the effect of its tone. After the customer left, Mina drew 2 circles on a sheet of paper: intention and impact. My intention was practical. I wanted the mugs returned before closing.
Impact is the effect your words actually have on another person.
Good intentions can coexist with an uncomfortable impact.
If I only defend my intention, I dismiss the reader's experience.
Dismiss means treat a concern as unimportant or unworthy of attention.
The unhelpful response would be, "You are too sensitive. I did nothing wrong."
That would protect my pride and damage the conversation.
A better response validates the feeling without pretending the rule is unnecessary.
Validate means recognize that a feeling or concern is understandable.
I can say, I understand why that sounded accusatory.
Then add the context. The cafe simply needs its mugs for the next morning.
I am responsible for the wording, even though I did not intend harm.
Responsibility gives you the power to repair the impact.
Repair means take useful action to improve what was damaged.
The two circles did not compete. Together, they explained why revision was necessary. Before rewriting the notice, Theo suggested that they investigate why the mugs kept disappearing.
We should verify the cause instead of relying on assumptions.
Verify means check that information is accurate or true.
The relevant fact is that 12 mugs were missing yesterday.
Relevant means directly connected to the question we are examining.
Inventory scan complete. 8 mugs are on the upstairs reading shelf.
So they were relocated, not lost.
That circumstance changes our interpretation of the pattern.
A circumstance is a fact or condition surrounding an event.
And the remaining 4 are in the art room, holding paintbrushes with great dignity.
Our original conclusion was too strong because our evidence was incomplete.
An inference is a reasoned idea drawn from evidence, but it can still be wrong.
We inferred carelessness when the actual cause was an unclear borrowing system.
Then the notice should explain the return point, not accuse people of repeated delays.
Excellent, we have solved the mystery of the migrating mugs.
Once the context was verified, the problem became specific enough to solve. Sira asked the group to define the notice's purpose before choosing new words.
A useful request should be specific about the action, the location, and the deadline.
Specific means exact and clearly defined rather than vague.
Action, return borrowed mugs. Location, the tray by the stairs. Deadline, before closing.
Concise means brief but complete, so perhaps we do not need a tragic history of every missing cup.
Correct, concise language removes unnecessary detail without removing meaning.
We also need a rationale. The cafe needs clean mugs for the morning service.
A rationale is a clear reason for a decision or request.
Giving a reason makes the request more transparent.
Transparent communication makes the purpose easy to see.
Firm does not have to mean rude.
Exactly, firm language clearly states a boundary or expectation.
Courteous language shows respect while the expectation remains clear.
So our criteria are specific, concise, transparent, firm, and courteous.
That is a well-dressed sentence. Practical shoes, no steel boots.
With clear criteria, revision became a design problem rather than a debate about taste. They drafted 3 versions, then Sira insisted on a read-aloud test.
Written tone can be difficult to predict until you hear the sentence spoken.
Allow me, patrons are required to restore ceramic property to its designated station.
That register sounds as if the mugs have hired a lawyer.
Register is the level and style of language chosen for a particular situation.
The formal version is precise, but it is not natural for our cafe audience.
Audience means the people a message is intended to reach.
Then let us soften it without making it vague.
Please return borrowed mugs to the tray by the stairs before closing.
That is tactful, honest, and careful about other people's feelings.
Could we add the reason we need them clean for tomorrow morning?
Yes, that makes the request cooperative rather than commanding.
Cooperative language invites people to help achieve a shared goal.
The final test is rhythm. Can a customer understand it after one reading?
I understood it, and I was distracted by a cinnamon roll.
The sentence passed, natural for its audience, tactful in tone, and clear on the first reading. Just as they prepared to post the revision, Mrs. Alvarez arrived with a mug wrapped in a scarf.
I meant to return this yesterday, but the elevator stopped working.
That is a reasonable exception. Thank you for bringing it back safely.
An exception is a case that does not follow the usual rule for a valid reason.
A rigid policy ignores constraints that people cannot control.
A constraint is a limit that affects what someone can do.
Our return system should accommodate residents who cannot easily use the stairs.
Accommodate means adjust a situation so different needs can be met.
We could place a second return basket beside the elevator.
That would make the process accessible, not merely polite.
Accessible means designed so people with different abilities can use it.
Fair does not always mean identical. Sometimes equity requires a useful adjustment.
Equity means fairness that considers different circumstances and barriers.
Then the notice can state the usual process without treating every delay as misconduct.
The mugs now have 2 return stations and 0 criminal records.
One exception improved the system for everyone who would face the same constraint. Before the new notice went up, Adam found the old one and added a reply in thick pencil.
Of course, because society collapses whenever one mug takes a holiday.
I recognize sarcasm, but the paper does not show your friendly eyebrow.
Sarcasm uses words that often mean the opposite of what the speaker intends.
Without your voice or expression, a reader could interpret that as hostility.
Written messages lack nonverbal cues such as facial expression, timing, and gesture.
So my joke may escalate the tension instead of reducing it.
Escalate means make a conflict more serious or intense.
A constructive reply would identify the problem and suggest an improvement.
Constructive means intended to help rather than merely criticize.
Then I will write, could we explain where to return mugs and why the deadline matters?
That question clarifies your concern without provoking a defensive response.
Provoking means causing a strong reaction, usually on purpose.
Thank you. That version helps us de-escalate the conversation.
De-escalate, reduce the intensity, retire the eyebrow, keep the useful point.
Adam erased the joke, and the discussion became easier to join. Mina decided the new notice should begin with a brief apology for the old one. I am sorry if anyone was offended.
That sounds conditional. It can imply that the problem exists only if the reader reacted badly.
A specific apology names the action and its impact.
Then, I am sorry our previous notice sounded accusatory and made borrowing feel unwelcome.
That acknowledges both the wording and the effect.
And it contains no secret trapdoor labeled but.
I will not add, but we really needed the mugs.
Accountability means accepting responsibility for your actions and their consequences.
I accept responsibility for posting the notice without testing its tone.
A sincere apology also includes repair.
We changed the wording and added an accessible return station by the elevator.
That is concrete action, not decorative regret.
Concrete means definite and specific rather than abstract.
I hope the change restores trust and makes the process easier. The apology did not erase the mistake. It showed that the cafe had learned from it. Everyone contributed one final round of feedback before Mina printed the replacement.
The draft is precise about the return locations and deadline.
Precise means exact enough to prevent misunderstanding.
It also includes the elevator basket, so the process feels inclusive.
The rationale is transparent. Clean mugs are needed for morning service.
And the register is courteous without becoming excessively formal.
I support it, although ceramic citizens has been removed from consideration.
Consensus detected. No participant objects to the final wording.
Consensus is general agreement reached by a group.
Feedback improved the draft because each reader noticed a different risk.
Feedback is information that helps someone evaluate and improve work.
Final wording. Please return borrowed mugs before closing. Use the tray by the stairs or the basket beside the elevator. We need clean mugs for morning service.
Clear request, useful reason, accessible options, and respectful tone.
The sentence has changed shoes.
Mina printed the revision only after the people affected by it had helped test it. The next morning, the revised notice waited beside an empty return tray.
This version feels welcoming. I know what to do and why it matters.
The rule did not disappear. The unnecessary accusation did.
That contrast shows how tone can change a reader's relationship to the same request.
We clarified the literal message and removed the harmful implication.
We also replaced assumptions with evidence, which was inconveniently sensible.
Context revealed the elevator barrier and led to an accessible option.
And a constructive question worked better than sarcasm.
Recall the sequence: interpret, investigate, validate, revise, and test.
Interpret the message from more than one perspective.
Investigate the context and verify the evidence.
Validate the impact, especially when it differs from the intention.
Revise the wording with precise, courteous language.
Then test it on someone who has not been staring at it for an hour.
Considerate communication is not weaker. It is clearer, fairer, and easier to trust. By closing time, every mug had returned, and the room sounded kinder without becoming less clear.